I'm going to take you for a little journey through my show. And it's really weird because I can't see any of you, and I'm used to seeing you all. But we're going to have, as Erica probably mentioned, one screen kind of showing you what's going on as I try and talk you through it. Wow, this has been quite a journey. And I just want to thank all of you who have continued to show up for me week after week, and just be supportive beyond through this crazy time. So, yeah, I guess let's get started. I believe you can see the screen. Feel free to message if you'd like. So what I've kind of created here, this is so weird. This is a little different, obviously, than the group show that we've shared, because this is an actual space. So, yeah, I'm just kind of get my bearings, but kind of like every talk I do with you guys, the first few minutes are a little shaky, but we're getting to see kind of a view of the space we've created. I also just want to quickly shout out that I had a huge amount of help putting the show together. Erica's entire family, the staff here, folks my mom's here somewhere in the back. It's just been a lot. So I just want to quickly say thank you to those folks. So we're going to start with this first piece. It is an arrangement of found photographs, and I'm playing with the ideas of this wallpaper repeating. It's also the backdrops of all the photographs. I'm feeling a little reluctant to tell you exactly what's happening because it's like a feeling, but I wanted to create this wall that was kind of weeping. You'll see images of folks we've lost due to racism and violence, and they're on the same wall with the folks that created or committed those crimes. I just wanted to create a space where you kind of had to face the whole story at once. I'm not sure if it's doing that, but sorry. I'm watching our camera guy kind of share this with you all. So just kind of to mirror what's happening on the fireplace area, I wanted to kind of have a space where the viewer kind of metaphorically would sit and reflect. So it's kind of a pared down scene because I really want the viewer to fill in the blanks, if you will. We were honored and lucky enough to get the fabulous Taryn Jordan to write the wall text for us, and just want to share that there's a moment for you if and when you were to be in the space, to kind of get a rundown on some of the pieces in the best way that Taryn knows how to with her words. So thank you for that, Taryn. Hope you're here. Just gonna spin around here. Hey, it's you. So I wanted to create a space. We're here in A Long Way from Home. I didn't quite hear everything that Erica had mentioned about it, but I really wanted to tackle space with a reference to home, obviously, as I kind of do regularly. I've got a clock in this scene. It's going off. And so the space that is here at Gallery 51, these little cubbies kind of already existed in the space. So I wanted to be able to transform it to make it feel purposeful for the work. So in subtle ways, created these mini vignettes that are supposed to be like little lawn fronts, if you will. Really paid attention to the palette that I chose kind of early on, my signature pinks, and kind of went with the green to just kind of tie it all together. I sound like crazy right now. I'm so sorry. Still don't have my bearings yet. I probably shouldn't be talking through all of this. Thank you. So you'll see that in the collage pieces, I've incorporated text again. I was really kind of just coming off of the show at Freeze LA, and so I didn't want to kind of move away from that way of working. I feel like it was a way for me to really process a lot of the stuff that we're all dealing with. And so I had this kind of realization to just honor a few of the people we've lost by just kind of placing their names on the panels and treating them with the rhinestones and the flowers and the dripping. You're now seeing the title piece of the show. This one is called A Long Way from Home. I'm still kind of unpacking it myself, but I'm looking forward to chatting with you guys about it. There's lots of moments throughout the space that I just put mirrors so that the viewer can see themselves in the work, which is kind of a thing that I do. And then also so you can see other works reflecting back when you're looking at one thing or standing in a particular place. And so I'm just sharing a little bit of that. This little vignette, this wall special, this is wallpaper that actually lives in Erica's house. So it's a little nod to her and her family and for hosting me here. And then you get hit with that mirror right after walking through the space, seeing some family photos. Not my family necessarily, but a family. And then I just keep the reality check going, referencing the Karens of the world. Sorry if your name's Karen and you're a sweet lady. But this is a piece titled Salty Karens, and you can kind of see what's taking place here. Spent hours on that piece, hand stitching, just joking. I can hear Erica laughing in the other room because she knows I didn't do anything. I just found that. I guess it's okay if I'm in that shop. Again with the mirrors, but just having another moment kind of at the back of the space now and giving you a repeat of the wallpaper, just tying everything together, but you know, giving you that home space, just little moments to reflect on the works around you and your own story. And refusing to you know, not face the real issues that we need to address. People need to stop dying. People need to stop being murdered at the hands of the police. Can you zoom in on the face masks? We're in a pandemic, people. She's spraying Lysol, just for the details. This is a found piece, a lithograph that I thought was kind of created an interesting tension next to the piece that you just saw. And then we kind of end it with this reminder that America is in a serious pickle and we need to figure our way out fast. We're just gonna kind of walk back to the kind of front of the space, giving you one last look while I'm walking around with you. That's a good question. Someone just said, how do you make us laugh and cry at the same time? I guess we can talk about that more. I guess this is the last piece in the show. It's the beginning piece of the last piece at the same time. I'm not gonna stop saying their names. All right, I'm not sure what we do next, but I think Erica will chime in, or maybe I have to give her her phone back.
We are, I'm sure all of us, if you were anything like we were in the back of the gallery, we were crying, we were laughing. This whole experience this exhibition has been amazing. And I can tell from the different comments that you have that you feel the exact same way. This is our opportunity to talk. This is our opportunity to share. So I'm going to ask you now, while Genevieve is in the gallery, to share your comments. We'd love to hear from you. You know, that's what we've always been about. We invite you now, if you have comments, to either put them in chat or to let us know. Feel free to put yourself back on camera if you want to talk with us, because we will have opportunities to look through the gallery again together. So at this point, please put yourself back on camera. Please let us see you. Genevieve wants to see your faces, and let us know what is going on. It is so marvelous to see you, Dr. Jordan, and President Burge, and J-Star, and Laura Thompson, and all these wonderful people, Michonne, Olivia. As you come back up, let us know what is on your mind. And I know you're excited. I see you, Nikki Grade. I know you're excited to talk with Genevieve, and we are too. This has been an amazing show. And Sarah, Alex, I see you. All these different people that we have created and built this community around for the last 5 months are here. And we're just really excited. Hi, Blair. Hi, Vicki. We are hoping that the folks that are close by will be able to come by. I know some of you already planned that, but all of these comments are amazing. So please share with us. You know, this is our last moment with Genevieve, and this is our opportunity to tell her what you're feeling about the show. But also, it's your opportunity to ask her questions about the installations. I'm sure you can imagine it's a lot to absorb, and there's a lot of different layers to it. I know Dr. Green asked how she makes us laugh and cry at the same time. And I think that is, I don't know if she's able to answer that. She'll probably have to work through that herself. Hi, Lisa. All of these different things that we are dealing with in this show. And I think all of you, and I read that in some of the comments, that the relevance is amazing. And this individual has been working furiously to make sure of that, way beyond what we could have possibly imagined she was going to do. I hate to put you on the spot, Dr. Jordan, but I want to take a moment to acknowledge you being here, and share with everybody who it was that we invited and asked to write the exhibition text and how that came about. Dr. Jordan came to one of Genevieve's sessions with us very early on, and through one of her comments, we had discovered that she was using her work in her doctoral research, and it was amazing. She was deconstructing and putting words to what Genevieve put images to, and so we thought it was only fitting that she put words to this show. So, hi, Dominique. So I want to make sure that we acknowledge her, but I think it would be lovely to have you tell us your impressions of this show. Would you mind? Okay. Veronica, I'm gonna unmute because you know we always go back and forth. Okay.
No, hi, hey y'all, how are you doing? It's this has been a dream experience. I have had the lovely opportunity of encountering Erica and Erin and Genevieve and Veronica and all the folks at MCLA through this really great digital forum that y'all have put together, and it's been such a gift to have in my life in the midst of lockdown that was really difficult. So it was a great, bright, shining moment, and to have the opportunity to work so closely with you is a gift that I could never have imagined and will continue to flow through my career and time. So thank you, Erica, for definitely taking a chance on me. And, you know, I have never done anything like this before, so it's been really exciting. But, you know, I've had a few conversations with the collective group who are organizing towards the exhibition, and I got really lucky to have a couple of phone calls with Genevieve to talk about the installation. And I ended up writing this before I think I'd seen like maybe 3 pieces in total, and trying to speak to the mood of what Genevieve is getting at in her work. And I'm astounded. It's even more exciting and compelling than I could ever imagine it to be. And I feel there's this line I wrote in the very first draft of the exhibition statement that said, this is a work of an artist who understands her form and knows what she's doing. And I think that this exhibition definitely speaks to the way in which she writes and thinks through images. And that's what I've always found most compelling about Genevieve's work, is that she continues a long tradition within Black history and culture of using, whatever tools we have around us to communicate and leave messages for those who come behind, messages of warning, messages of love, and messages of grief, and messages of celebration of life in even the most tiny and insignificant seemingly moments that we make fantastic. And so I think that what Genevieve does for us in this installation is such a gift. And I think that she continues to speak to the complicated textures of Black life that is very much replete with incredible celebration and absolute devastation, but we still somehow endure. So I'm moved and so thankful to be a part of this, and can't wait to see it in person in a couple months once I move and I'm there. Anyway, that's it. I can gush. I'm going to stop now.
We appreciate you, Dr. Jordan, and we feel honored as well. I'm sure Genevieve will speak to that too. It's been an amazing experience, and we didn't have to take a chance on you. There are a lot of other scholars like you on this call that we appreciate the opportunity that we have you to reference and document our work.
Oh, Erica. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm cancer. I'm gonna cry.
All right, next. All right, Genevieve. Genevieve, tell us. Okay, so let's make sure that if there are any other comments or questions, we invite you to share them and to talk with us. That was a beautiful walkthrough.
Thanks. Sorry, I'm like tearing up. Thanks, Taryn. I could lip read. Yeah. Jupiter and his shades. Michelle, what's up? Sorry.
Sean, Molly.
I know everyone's here.
I'm loving Olivia's backdrop. We love that, Olivia. We got to figure out how to do that.
Sarah knows.
Daphne wants to come to the gallery and pour over it. And I loved how she loved the food references as a chef. We appreciate you. And I also want to thank Patrick for doing a wonderful job filming that for us. Excellent job, Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yes.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, Laura.
And Jeff put a beautiful comment in there.
What?
Hi,
Jeff
Molly.
Here? What up, Jeff?
So I'm gonna, I might start it too. I also, there's so many people I recognize who have helped us, but I also want to acknowledge our amazing artist / installer, Charlene Tan, who helped us till the very last minute. Charlene Tan, back again. Thank you. And oh, I love it. Thanks for the clapping. Charlene, did you see that? And, but I think one of the things, Genevieve, that everybody has commented on, in addition to just being amazed visually, is how powerful the work is, and maybe the idea of just how, and I was saying to your mom earlier today, that it's amazing how you work in real time, like literally in real time. Things have gone down in the last 2 days and you're on it. And I wonder, you know, obviously we've been working on this for quite some time, but can you maybe share with us, because I'm sure people are wondering how that works in your mind when you think about, you've already established these key elements or works in the show, and then you realize that you want to incorporate something else? Like, how does that, is that jarring for you, or is it just like something like an urgency, I have to do that, and how you bring that together for something like this?
Yeah, I think it's more the urgency, and like I can't get it out of my head, so I just have to like do it and see. It might not work, but it's just working through it. You know, I think I was taking a break when I scrolled through Instagram and saw the video of Jacob, and you know, that just, I don't know how to really talk about it right now, but yeah, you just have to respond the best way you can, you know?
Yeah. I think one of the things that we're always excited about is the dialogue that we create. And you and I have had conversations about, and obviously we have lots of conversations about the daily consumption you get in the media, and you understand what's going on in the world and how you still keep functioning daily. In that, you know, in some way you have to express it, whether it's through your art, but at some point you have to stop yourself from not wanting to acknowledge it, or a sort of numbness that occurs. And I think that one of the things that you do is that really well, and you help us to do that. Let's see, we have a question from Laura. I wondered if you would talk about why you use 50s pop culture images to represent the Karen issues we are dealing with today.
That's kind of the vein I kind of pull from, or the era. So that's kind of, yeah. There's no like secret behind that. It's more just like I got lucky when I turned the page of a magazine and saw those ladies. And you can attest to this, Erica, that image was cut out and laid on that board for months. Yeah, a long time. And you know, had to wait until I flipped the page of the magazine where I saw the salt, and then, you know, I'm like, oh, actually Daphne might like a food reference. No, and so yeah, it's a little bit of like filtering the imagery that comes through, but it's not like, I guess I'm not, it's just that's the stuff I use. There's no story behind that part, because I've kind of said that. I mean, it's kind of like my tool, that era. But it's just a reference to how we haven't come as far as we like to speak of. And yeah, like sometimes, like you were saying, like working in real time, waiting for that thing to jolt you and the right images to come together to like make it all happen.
I wonder if you know, when you came up, we were brainstorming titles, and I think Erin can remember too, and Veronica, like as soon as you said A Long Way From Home, we're like, that's it, like, you know. And I think this show is amazingly representative of that, and I think that Taryn did a really great job of expressing that feeling that you have when you long to be back home, but things change when you leave, and you see them differently, and experiences are different, and people are different. It doesn't change how you feel about them, you know, your family, your friends, but everything, it becomes a little bit more complicated because you've gone and come back and things are different. And I just feel like this show, you conveyed that beautifully, and it's so elegant, but so simple, but there are parts of it that are really raw, and it takes you a moment to experience that. And I wonder if when you were talking to yourself about this idea in your mind, or you thought about that. What was most challenging when you thought of this concept of trying to reconcile this being home, but sometimes not feeling at home? And we've talked a lot. I know you miss LA too. That's your other home. How was that for you when you were putting it all together? Do you feel like you were able to kind of get that out of this show?
I mean, I think a lot of the processing in between creating works or like stumbling across the next way to create a piece had a lot to do with driving, which is kind of what happens in LA too, but and I think I was also trying to reflect that in the space, the way we kind of did the lawn signs or whatever. And that's really what I'm driving through, from here to Wendell. And even more so in this past couple weeks, just like staying local and going around to get supplies and stuff, and just feeling these kind of ups and downs, just like house after house, because you get to see their view on things,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like who's being quiet, who's just gonna sit back and not be affected, whose sign means what, who's flying what flag. It's just all sorts of layers, and it's just kind of all jumbled up in my head. And so I was just really thinking about North Adams and kind of the surrounding towns specifically, because like I wouldn't necessarily believe you if you told me I was in the north, driving around here. And it's troubling and scary. And so I wanted to create a body of work that could help this community face these kind of things, because they're clearly not talking about it. No offense. So
Yeah.
Or they're not talking to each other,
Right.
It's like,
yeah,
everyone has their megaphone moment with the sign or the thing that they choose to put out on their lawn or whatever.
mm-hmm.
I don't know.
No, I think that was a perfect way to put it, because a lot of these are references that we've talked about when you've done the drive back and forth. And a couple of us have had the pleasure of driving with Genevieve back and forth, and it is illuminating. It's fun, but it is illuminating. It definitely does give you pause, and it is representative of an interesting different a divide in a lot of different ways that you address in the show, and I think that what we get from this are points of departure for dialogue that we wouldn't necessarily get. So I think mission accomplished. Lisa says, there was a moment when you were taking us around and we could see your work and you in the mirror. It was so cool. I was wondering what shifts moving from working on individual pieces to pulling all of the work together in space with the music, which was amazing as well.
I don't know if I can, I don't know. I
mean, I probably didn't read that very well.
I don't thank you. And I think it just gets to a point where it's like, okay, I've said the things that I'm trying to say in this. I'm considering the space at the same time. And, giving the work its kind of moment to breathe and say its thing without, a lot of extras sometimes, because I can be extra sometime, but I try not to with this.
I know. I also want to ask you about the sound element. So I know that, I'm sure many of you who have gone to, who maybe saw Genevieve's shows in different places. Probably the most recent one at Suzanne Bellmetter with the sound portion. I believe you had like birds chirping, and this one you chose something very different. Can you tell us like why you chose the humming sound for this particular installation?
It was a track that came across my path early on in the pandemic, and I kind of would listen to it as close to a meditative kind of space that I could get myself to. But it also I started to think about, because it's like all of the shit that usually is going on in the world with the racism and the brutality and all of that, that's always going on, whether you're seeing it or not, or acknowledging it. And then we put the pandemic over that. And so I think early on, I thought I was going to be like focusing more on that, but it's just like, meaning the pandemic, but the other things were just screaming so loud and I think the work, although they do what I do in my work, if that makes sense, but they're actually screaming. So I wanted the soundtrack to kind of center you, even though it's hard, or just have a place to go back to. So
Yeah. I think that it definitely comes through. Does anyone else, because I can ask Genevieve questions all night.
you can.
Anybody else? I know. Save her.
Hi, Nikki. Nikki, I know Nikki's brewing up something.
Oh, Nikki. Where are you from? Daphne says she's still digesting.
Fair enough. Me too. It's just cool to hang out with you guys like this.
It is. And I will address that, when we started the residency, we had a very different culmination to this. And the tone is very different in light of what's going on in the world. And we do, by all means, celebrate this amazing artist and her work. But I do appreciate you, Genevieve, for creating the appropriate tone and culmination and helping us to reflect, because that is what our intention was, to give us an opportunity to reflect, to help us to ask questions of ourselves and others, and to engage in the dialogue that art provides for us. And I really think that, again, you succeeded with that. So, but I wanted to acknowledge this is a very different place than we thought we were going to be before. But we are all happy to be here with you to share that. We have, let's see, J-Star. J-Star says, your work has been focused visually on you in many cases, as well as creating these spaces for people to experience. What is it like to bring in others so specifically using their names?
I think I get what you're saying, but I also feel like I'm always kind of doing a balance. I might not be using like physical names, but the names are part of our landscape now, so they're more than a name. So I don't feel as separate from them as as a title or as a label, as a name. I feel like, you know, a lot of us can see ourselves in the name. Do you know, if that makes sense?
Star said, that makes sense. Thank
Thanks,
Thank
Star.
you. I'm wondering if anybody has any, maybe not specific questions, but any particular impressions of the show that you wanted to share with us as a group. A lot of really great comments. Jeff had a really long one. I might have to read that, Jeff. Thanks for all. Jeff, you were so, I love it. Okay, hold on. We have another one. We have two. Oh no, okay, so Veronica, well, we all know Veronica. Veronica, do you want to ask the question yourself? Or would you rather that I read it?
Yeah, sure. I want to apologize. For some reason, my camera is not working, so I can't bring it up. I have a couple questions. I think the first one being, what was the hardest part of making the show and what was the easiest part of making the show?
Girl, nothing ain't easy. I think the easiest part was like the point where I've got myself in the just knowing like how, as crazy as this whole process can be, that the support team that I have, which, you know, kind of includes all of you, and, you know, because I get kind of crazy in this like last few weeks, and so and Veronica, you know, you got to see it front on, you know.
But it was amazing.
So I didn't look easy, but the easy part is me feeling like that constant support. So I can just like, you know, tumble around here and figuring out, you know, just knowing that it's always gonna come together somehow, even if a hammer falls on someone's head. Or that didn't happen, did it? Maybe. Anyway, or, you know, a number of things that happened. But there were some, it was just like always laughs. There's always check-ins. So that part's easy. The hardest part is probably the Zoom walkthrough and just like hoping everyone like kind of is into it and can see themselves in it.
Okay, and then
the hard.
yeah, no, that makes sense. The other question I had was the topics that you're working with, there's no way to work with them in an easy way. And I wonder if when you work with them, do you find it to also be a process for yourself? Like it's a way or method that you use to process what is going on?
Definitely. And I think it's hard to process these things. And so the best way to do that is to create the thing to bring people with you to like make it a little bit more manageable to address those things. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm just like staring at Taryn's wall. I'm like, we're ending it with the wall. I'm gonna go in my Fiat. No, just joking.
Unfortunately, this is the last time we're going to see it.
Oh, I know. Screenshot.
But that's okay. We'll see you on this coast. It'll be fine.
It'll be even
Just paint a new wall. I have to say there's some really amazing comments in here. I hope you're reading all of them, Genevieve. And
I can't see any of that. I don't know.
it's really amazing. Again, Jeff, amazing comments. I'm going to read this one now, Jeff, because Where is Jeff? He is so funny. Okay. Jeff says, I think in one of the early sessions, you said that people kept asking how the pandemic would affect your work. And you didn't think it would because there were still more pressing issues that you wanted to deal with in the work. So I chuckled a bit when I saw the masks and the Lysol included. Wondering if you can comment on how your thoughts changed about including the pandemic in the work. And I miss Taryn's wall and your works as well. Thank you, Jeff. We will miss you too.
Jeff. I don't know, like I think it's pretty much what I said. Because at first it was like, oh my God, we're all like at home and we can't go anywhere and we're by ourselves and we have to wear masks. And like there's subtle moves where certain people are masked, but not with the proper type of mask. There's a few Lone Rangers in there. You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of my thought behind it. I think at the end of the day, it's the one thing that everyone's dealing with. So we don't have to address it. Everyone knows, but I guess bodies of privilege don't allow themselves to fully comprehend what it is like to be in a Black or brown person's shoes. And so that seems always more pressing.
Good question, Jeff. Maria, AKA Veronica's mother, how does all that is happening in our country right now affect you, being that you are of both races?
Who's that? Sorry. Oh, that. I don't know how to answer that question. I feel like I always am answering not through the work. I don't know. Sorry, Veronica, I'm totally dropping the ball for your mom.
You're fine.
We appreciate moms.
We do.
And Olivia has a technical question. Are the displays for the collages in the areas custom? I guess that's a little bit of both. Those recessed areas existed and have been altered. And the last yes. And the last modification, it kind of worked well. So we changed them up as we need them, and Genevieve liked them, so we kept them. But yeah, hope that answered. Did I answer your question? So
I would say more that that's what the space looked like, and this is more just for other artists that get a space that they, you have to figure it out. So how do I make it speak to what I'm addressing? And that's like playing with color and like kind of transforming those into houses in really kind of simple ways without taking away from the work. And I want to take the viewer through like an experience. So just like really honing in on those ways to lock it in.
All right, y'all. DJ Scooch, where are you? Come on, Jeff, show your moves. D-Hill.
D-Hill's always looking out for us.
Mm-hmm.
Keep the party going.